The first historical summit between the 21 Arab League countries and 12 Pacific Island states was devoted to prospects for cooperation between the Arab world and the Pacific Islands. The summit was attended also by Premier Honourable Toki Talangi and his delegation. And according to Premier Talangi, the focus of discussions was on establishing dialogues and mutual interests.
Minister of Finance from Abu Dhabi, who visited the Pacific Islands sometimes in February this year. And as a consequence of that, he thought that it would be a good idea for us in the Arab League to meet and discuss matters of mutual interest, as well as to determine whether there is a pathway forward for us to work through and help cooperatively each other as members of this world.
Now, $50 million was proposed by the UAE for the Pacific region, and is Niue expecting to get some or receive a share of that $50 million?
I expect so, and my view at the present moment, and I took up the Niue project so that we can hopefully get some funding for that, and we're still going to pursue that with them. The meetings were preliminary, therefore it wasn't something that I would push specifically. However, it is understood that in fact we will have projects, and that's one of the projects. The other projects we were talking about, and I forgot to say this in the one, were tourism and fisheries. We thought, and I thought in my statement, that our richness in fact comes from the sea. We haven't exploited it as well as we should. We'd certainly like to see whether we can work with them to ensure that we can exploit that resource of ours and get maximum benefits from it, in the same manner that they have done with their oil resources up in Abu Dhabi.
Now, one of the calls from the UAE is to companies in the Pacific to leverage partnerships with the UAE businesses in industrial, service and technology domains. What is Niue's response considering our limited resources?
Well, we don't have limited resources. We do have resources. We have tourism, we have fisheries. I think the problem with us in the past has been the fact that we haven't seen those particularly as resources that we can exploit and work with. And certainly, my belief at the present moment is that if we can get partnerships with those people up there, including the governments of Morocco, for example, who have a vast fisheries resource, then there's absolutely no reasons why we can't work with them to exploit the resource that we have here. You already know that we're talking about leasing the EZ and so on. This is part of the process of trying to determine whether we can form partnerships with those countries. Tourism is the other one. And it's basically the approach that I'm taking at the present moment is one of caution, in the sense that we don't know very much about the Arab League, they don't know very much about us, but we've started the dialogue. Therefore, let's explore the possibilities for investment, both for them to come here and for us to go out there and so on, and determine whether we should or should not.
Some concerns from countries in the Pacific is that Arab countries will exploit the islands. But according to Premier Talangi, this concern is global.
Anywhere around the world at the present moment, there are tensions, not just with the Arab countries around that region, but I don't see that as being a major issue at this particular point in time. I take note of what has been stated by those people, but let's explore the relationships that can be developed positively, rather than say, because this may happen, therefore we shouldn't. I don't ascribe to that sort of view necessarily. If you have a look at what's happening around the world at the present moment, you might say that to every region there is that have problems, and therefore why are we going to talk to those people because they do have their own problems? I believe that in fact we should establish dialogue, and this is a good way of doing it.
The Arab League and the Pacific Island leaders agreed on 12 months to meet with a view of formulating a 5-year program of action to deepen cooperation between the two regions.